I'm with the Mississippi Municipal League, and our mission is to provide training and education for all of the local elected officials in the state. We also do some state lobbying, but our main mission is to provide them with training. It's an all-volunteer program, but we have 3 levels. It's a certified municipal official program. There's a basic level, an advanced level, and a PD level. And to complete all 3 levels requires 140 hours of education. At this conference, we are doing topics like budgeting, transportation, water and sewer issues, public works, human resources management, as well as things like public speaking. We're also doing a focus this year on economic development, especially with retail and franchise companies coming to your town. It's been very positive. This is the only place that they can really get this kind of education, and a lot of local elected officials don't have a background in running a city, so we really provide them with the avenues they need to make their communities better.
The topic of our educational seminar today is municipal liability and workers' comp. The reason that we're presenting this program today is because we feel it's important for municipal officials to understand the different aspects of liability insurance and the difference between liability insurance and workers' compensation. There's a large portion of our cities that are insured with the Mississippi Municipal Service Company, and we try very hard to educate our members so that they do not make any mistakes and they do know how to avoid risk and make their workplace safer. We're here to give them some tips on how to avoid liability situations in their municipalities. Different things such as potholes, different things such as trip and falls in their municipality, their police departments, their fire departments, how to help those guys and those departments to be better prepared for potential liability situations. We also want to teach them and educate them on keeping their workplace safe, making sure that when a worker is injured, that he gets the proper treatment and he gets back to work as quickly as possible to save the city money.
The topic today is redevelopment strategies for Mississippi, both in the public sector and the private sector, primarily focusing on brownfield redevelopment. I guess a brownfield, if you can think of what that might be, it's a piece of property that for whatever reason you either have the perceived or real contamination issues associated with it. And so we're showing some examples throughout the state of ways you can redevelop those properties and ultimately bring jobs and economic development to the cities. A great deal of potential. Primarily, we've got examples both in Jackson, for instance, the district at Eastover, which if you go down near St. Dominic's, that's a redevelopment that's taking place right now. It's a multi-million-dollar project that's going to bring in, I believe, hundreds of jobs there. We've got the mill at MSU, which is another brownfield property up at Mississippi State. That's, again, another large brownfield redevelopment. And then you may have some small redevelopments that might be just converting an old gas station to a coffee shop. That might only be 2 or 3 jobs, but in this day and age, a job for a community is important.
The separation of powers doctrine provides you can't.
Today's topic is on a legislative update as well as an Attorney General's opinions update. It's crucial for municipal officials to attend these types of seminars in order to keep up to date and current on the changes in municipal laws.
In any typical year, how many new laws come about that local officials have to be aware of?
It varies. There weren't very many this year, but in years past, depending upon what issues the lobbyists are dealing with and the legislature's dealing with, it just depends on whatever's trending at the time. It's important because they are making decisions on behalf of the municipality. They certainly need to be aware of the laws and the authority that they may have to do or not do a particular action.
Big, huge digital divide.
Our educational session today is about intelligent communities. I work for the Mississippi State University Extension Service, and we help rural communities transition to, plan for, and prosper in the digital age. And it is an awareness, educational awareness program where we go and talk to communities about what the implications of the digital age are and how Extension Service can help.
Where do Mississippi cities, towns, and villages compare to others around the country in terms of being up to speed in the digital age?
Well, we don't have a standard indicator to compare, but I can tell you that with a certain carrier deploying fiber to the home, it's really putting Mississippi at the front line of this digital, and regarding the digital age. We've got to couple that with education, of course, and it's not only infrastructure, but it's also education and adoption.
The topic is empowering cities for the 21st century. C-Spire is a diversified technology company, and we know that there are a lot of challenges that are facing cities today. In addition to all the political issues that they have, technology and communication also appear to be moving up on the charts as far as areas where they're trying to get a handle on and trying to make sure that their cities are connected and that they're able to communicate efficiently with their constituents.
How can government at the local level benefit from expanded broadband services?
Oh, without a doubt. So from the education standpoint, when you think about kids who may be in an area that is a disadvantaged area that doesn't have good communications, it puts them at a disadvantage with not being able to access the internet and things that are on the web, things that may be associated with their curriculum and with their education that they're trying to achieve.
Money.
The topic of our presentation today is recognizing tourism opportunities in your small town.
How can small towns around Mississippi create jobs through tourism?
Well, tourism is wonderful because what it does is it brings outside dollars into our local communities and small towns, and this can support job growth through small business development, and then also indirect and induced jobs because you have restaurants, hotels, and then attractions that also have to hire staff. Our state is just so wonderful when it comes to tourism. We have seen so much success in small towns. I've worked for many years with Ocean Springs, and they have just seen wonderful growth and opportunities in tourism. And then Columbus, Mississippi is another great place that's done a lot with tourism.
What's going on in your communities? The subject of our workshop today is fair housing and Section 3.
How does this impact local government?
It's impact local government because by law, municipalities should make sure that citizens are not discriminated against when it comes to fair housing and rental and sale of properties.
What is the difficulty in enforcing this?
Well, education is the most challenging, but the difficulties is that individuals and citizens and property managers and landlords do not understand the law. It is important to understand the law. That way you can comply with the law and you're not being discriminatory against citizens in your community.
How serious a problem is this in Mississippi?
Mississippi is very serious. The Mississippi Development Authority completed their analysis of impediment study back in October 2015 that basically outlined all the problems or barriers to fair housing across the state. It's very serious when it comes to lending, when it comes to predatory lending, and also mortgage lending. It is a very serious issue across the state, and our job today is to educate our mayors, our citizens, to make everyone aware of fair housing, and hopefully in the next 4 years when we do this study again, those numbers will be a little bit lower as far as the things that we found in the study.
To areas outside of the city.
The workshop today deals with helping the cities with fire codes, fire prevention, and reactions to fires.
And how can the average public benefit from this?
Well, I mean, obviously, the lower fire rates that you have in your state or your community, you're going to get lower insurance rates, almost a secondary to saving lives and property, but mostly you're going to save lives.
What can local government do to do this?
One of the very most important steps would be building codes. The stronger building codes help prevent fires, they help slow the spread of fires, and they help protect people's lives.
This topic for our educational session is called Leading from the Middle, and what it talks about is talking about how you can make your municipality healthy, how you can make a difference in your municipality, and we're here to talk about policy and system environmental change strategies through implementing initiatives that will increase access to healthier food choices, physical activity, and smoke-free air.
What kind of results have you seen from this program so far?
In the Mississippi Delta, we've touched about 61 municipalities. As we implement this initiative, we have about 23 what we call shared use agreements. That's where we're increasing access to physical activity and working with community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, as well as local school districts, so that people in the community will have access to the school grounds to walk, to exercise, to implement exercise after normal school hours.
You have to really, really think about that. I want you to, that's
one of the most persistent problems in small towns is animal control. In fact, today we're not just going to talk about dogs, but we'll talk about cats and complete comprehensive ordinances dealing with animals. In small rural towns, there's still people that want to have cattle and pigs and things like that inside city limits, and there's a way you can do that, so we'll talk about all those things.
How has your community been able to deal with these issues?
Well, it's like most communities, they expect us to take care of everything. So what we have done is we have put together 2 different ordinances dealing with this. And again, by state law, it's actually law enforcement's responsibility to enforce, but it usually ends up falling into your public works department to go pick up stray animals, and then law enforcement does the follow-up.
What kind of success have you seen?
We've had a pretty good success with it. We don't have anywhere near the number of dogs, cats, those type of things running loose that we used to have. It's not saying we don't have any, but we've done a pretty good job with it.
There's many things that's being learned here because we have quite a few classes that we go to. Like this morning, we are doing, I just left animal control class. Like I say, it's numerous classes.
Have you found it to be valuable?
Oh, very valuable, very valuable. It's educational too, where we're networking with each other along with the classes.
Well, I learn a lot every time I come. This is my 3rd year to attend. I just attended one on animal control, which every city in the state of Mississippi has to worry about, and I learned a lot of good information there. I've been to some on taxes. Just everything I've learned here has been helpful. I plan on taking it back and address it to the board on the next meeting.
Always the economy is a big issue. Within our city, though, we're doing pretty good, but our educational system needs a lot of help. We are struggling. We have some failing schools, and we're trying to bring them up to par. The education system within MML has helped all of us, all of the elected officials that go through it, because we understand more about our budget systems and our audits and the way to run government in an effective manner. So that helps us with our city issues. But largely in the city of Natchez, where I'm from, our larger issue is having, we have a decrease in population, but we're trying to keep the services at the same level. We want to keep our police services at the same level. We want to keep all of our fire services at the same level. All of our first responders, we want to keep them at the same level to make sure our community is safe.
This is my 14th year coming to the MML, and I've earned a lot of good information to help make good decisions to run the city.
What seminars have you attended so far today?
I've been the one with the budget, talking about the Mississippi budget, and I'm going now to the money.
I've been in the office 6 years, and the value I see, it gives you good information on how to handle situations that come up in your town and how to better your town and grow your town and take care of everyday solutions.
The main thing that I like is the ability to talk with other people that have similar problems that our town has and get the common approach to it, instead of sometimes you can talk to an attorney and they have their ideas that you really don't feel like will work, but when you talk to someone that has the same problem that you have, you seem to get answers that way. I do.
I've learned that different things about city government, which has been very beneficial to me. I learned how to operate a budget in town, just a lot of different things that was really beneficial.
My first term was in 1993 through 97, and then I took a little break, and this is my 3rd term. And so I've been coming almost every year, really enjoying the educational programs because they try to bring sessions that pertain to small towns as well as the larger ones. I just came out of animal control, which that is an issue. I think it's an issue for most anybody. And I really appreciate the education committee trying to bring programs to us that is very helpful.
This is my 8th year coming to MML. MML has really helped me become a better public servant for my city, taught me things, what to do and what not to do to keep us out of jail, and it really helped us to help better help our cities.
Tell us, what have you learned since you've been here today? What seminars have you attended, and what have you learned?
Well, today I moderated one for the workman compensation and liability insurance one, and then I sit in on the general session. I'm getting ready to go to 10 ways to better help your city, and trying to pick up some ideas that will better help my city to grow.
The finance and budget, and I learned that we need to keep our budget right, use the money where it should be used.
How many years have you been coming to MML, and what have you learned from these educational sessions?
Well, we've learned a lot, a whole lot, but we come from a small town, and we have learned how to keep our town, everything running smoothly, and keep our money.
I've learned quite a bit. This is my second term in, give me a total of 7 years now. And during that time, I've attended most of the courses that's been offered here. I've taken enough to qualify for all 3 stages, your basic, advanced, and professional as a community worker. And I think we get a lot of information when we come to these sessions. We take it back to our town and try to implement it to make improvements. We get information on grants that will help us in our parks and other things. I'm from a small town where you don't have a lot of revenue, so we have to depend on grants and things like that to give us money to get the things that we deserve and need in our towns.
I learned mainly from other mayors is the main thing, but always something about finance and budgeting. I was just in that session, and also to get an overview of how the state manages its finances, new debt formulas, how much we should allocate for capital improvements versus the rainy day reserve fund, that sort of thing. It's really good to have those kinds of rules of thumb.
It's been about 4 years that I've been coming, and I've learned a lot. I learned how to operate government. I didn't know anything about the public sector before. I always worked in the private industry, so I learned how to run meetings, how to make purchases, how to set up budgets, etc. It's been a worthwhile experience.
Infrastructure is always at the top of the list for Vicksburg and other cities similar to Vicksburg. We're undertaking a road paving project right now, trying to get streets overlaid that haven't been overlaid in over a decade. We're looking into our water and sewer systems. And one of the things we're finding as a challenge is when you're talking about infrastructure and transportation, is just finding the funds for them. Sometimes those problems are cost more than your annual budget would allow, so you're looking for creative ways to get some of those projects funded.
Tell us about the value of the educational sessions here as a newly elected official. What have you learned so far by coming to these MML sessions?
Well, I'm always a fan of lifelong learning in whatever capacity that you serve, but as an elected official, you always need to be on the cutting edge of what's available. You need to be educated so you can know how to better help your city. You need to know what funds are available, and you just need to know how to get things done. I think when you talk with people that's been there a while, it kind of gets your minds turning on how to be creative and proactive when you get back to your city. So I think you really can't put a value to it because it's so much gained from it. I think any public official can benefit from learning from others or just learning, period.
This is my second year.
And what have you learned so far?
I have learned a lot. This is my first term. I am the First Lady, Alderwoman of Belmont when I got elected.
Have you found all this training to be informative?
Yes, very much.
The water lines, the pipe, the sewage system is old and dilapidated. We don't have much of a tax base. We got less than 3 million people, so the state got less than 3 million people, so that's part of the problem. It's just no money. We need a shot in the arm from the federal.
Right now it's a lot of infrastructure needs. The great thing about coming down to the Municipal League, the convention down here, is that we get to spend a lot of time with other cities that are dealing with some of the same problems. So we get some good ideas. We want to be as efficient with our tax dollars as we can be. So pooling our ideas together, so to speak, is really the best way to attack it.
Our infrastructure is deteriorating, and we're working to try and fix this. We have, we right now, our city also is growing. We have new industry that's coming in. And
this is my third summer conference, and the best part about this one and what I've learned here today is the updates on law, municipal laws, and municipal rules and regulations are something that we're all benefiting from. Not just myself, but my councilman are taking an interest in it. And the course offerings this year seem to be larger and more varied than ever before. And everybody's having a good time and learning a lot.
I have been coming to MML for 6 years, since I've been an elected official in Bay St. Louis, and basically learned everything, from fundamentals to updates and what's on the cutting edge of governments and statutes and operating methodologies, and it's been a phenomenal assistance to me in performing my duties in Bay St. Louis, because I learned so much about the intricate parts of municipal government right here.
I just came from the budgeting and financing management, and I learned the importance of having a balanced budget.
How valuable are these educational sessions that MML offers?
Oh, they are very valuable. They are. We take this information back home to our small towns and we utilize it there. So it's very important to us.
The information that we're gathering down here is very helpful for us in our city. And I see that because that's why it's good to come and share and listen and hear the inputs about each session we have, because it's really helpful, because that helps us to go back and help our town to grow better.
We're learning how to handle a sustainable budget. There's a lot of items that you have to concentrate on and the rainy day funds that you need, because you have emergencies coming that you can't see, and we're just trying to plan for those things.
How valuable are these educational sessions?
They're very valuable, because most of the time when newly elected officials come in, they don't really have all of the training that they need to do these jobs.
Oh, I think there's so much to learn here with all the different classes, and it's also a great networking opportunity to meet people that are in the same position and other positions within the municipalities.
What are some of the big issues facing your city?
Well, we've got a lot of issues. I came to one about abandoned properties, one of the seminars that I went in, and that was very, very helpful. And how to attract retail, that's another one. So we have the same issues, trying to increase our tax base and bring new business to the area, just like everybody.
Most cities in Mississippi today are really suffering because of the infrastructure. Just the infrastructure is aged and very old, and it just needs upgrade and replacing. And most cities like mine, the city of Morton, we just hadn't got the money to do these things. So right now, I'm going to say most cities and towns in Mississippi, the infrastructure is very poor and needs upgrading.
This is my first term, and I've gained very important information that we need, in fact, to take back to our town so that we may improve the town and what we got going on in the city.
Infrastructure. And it's a critical component with water and sewer and streets. Much of our infrastructure throughout the state, and you'll find this throughout all municipalities and all states. That's one of our critical needs as a nation going forward, really.
What needs to happen?
You're dealing with municipalities that have sometimes water wells that are 15, 20, and 30 years old. We need new wells. You've got cities like ours is 184 years old. You've got aged systems, water delivery systems, and they're beginning to fail. Things don't last forever. You've got, in some areas, you use corrugated steel pipe at one point in time, 20, 25 years ago, and you thought that would be the mainstay, and it was. And then you fast forward 25 years, and those things are rusting away, and we're having to figure out ways to slip line those and replace those with modern things that don't deteriorate over time. So it's an ongoing, constant battle for a city.
One thing I've learned, having been a former employer and owned some companies in my life, if you want to get investment in your community, you have got to get it looking good.
I was elected in 2013 in Hattiesburg, and I wanted to make a difference in my community. I'm a native there, I've lived there all my life, and just really love Hattiesburg very much. So I'm here to learn about the responsibilities I have as a councilwoman, how our city can be fiscally responsible. We have a lot of needs to take care of, and to find out where there might be funding sources. But I also realize in coming to these conferences the value of relationships, because it's really about the people that we get to know and when we learn from each other, and just encouraging each other and supporting each other in our endeavors has meant the most to me.
16 years for me, and I find them valuable every time I go into something new. I find out something most of the time that I haven't known before, and that's been the case again this year.
What have you learned today?
Well, talking about communications in the city where you can make a little bit of money off of cables and things like that. I wasn't aware of that. I just thought it was something that was provided, but had no idea that you could actually make money off of it.
One of the most important things about MML is the opportunity to network. In terms of education-wise, it's definitely an invaluable experience. Just left a session on municipal securities and the new website that the Municipal Rulemaking Board has implemented. And as the public knows, municipal bonds is instrumental in economic development and growing cities. And I learned a whole lot about requirements in terms of disclosure for municipalities when getting to bonds, basically, when using bonds.
As how many years have you been elected, and how valuable is this training?
Well, this is my first term. I've completed 2 years, and the training is invaluable. I am an attorney. That's my day job. That's my full-time job. I'm on the board of Alderman and Byram, and it's a part-time pay, but it's also a full-time job. But even with a legal background, I had no idea how to run a city. Of course, I have the help of the mayor and my other 6 board members. At any rate, even with a legal educational background, I didn't know how to run a city, and MML has taught me everything that I know, and I'm helping to move my city forward.
Excellent, very good. Well, thank you.
I've been coming 3 years to MML, and I've learned a lot. Today was a great day. We just got out of a session for a healthier Mississippi and learning how to lead your community in that way. I think that's very important for us, and I think that's something we need to look into in our community of being as a healthier community. We're already smoke-free, so I think that just gives us more ways to go and to expand that.
How valuable are these educational programs that are offered here?
I think they're very valuable. As being a young alderman coming in, I think that this has really given me the base and the foundation of what I need to build on that.
It's been great. It's very positive. I think everyone has enjoyed being at the conference. It makes us feel good that we're providing them with what they need.
If people have questions, like more information, what should they do?
They can call our office. Our phone number is 601-353-5854, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that they have.